Well, Coach, I'm going to use words fast-paced, physical, contact. What words are you going to use?
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah, they're very scrappy. I like the way they play. They're a very good team. And push the ball. We talked at halftime, like 38 is more points than I expected us to score, but we gave up 33. But credit to them. They were making shots, and yeah, they're a very good team. I can see why they're 6-1 with, multiple quality wins, and they've been in a lot of close games. But, I'm just proud of our guys. I thought we had to handle a little adversity. Not only we haven't practiced this week, like that's a factor too. You know what I mean? I think a lot of teams are in the same boat, but that's you never feel overly confident as a coach going into a game on the road against a team that's 6-1. I think ranked in the top 15 or whatever in state, and you don't feel overly confident without practice. But I'm happy that our guys came to play.
And I'm sure, too, you're pretty proud of the fact that, they were a physical team, and Sauk Center was able to handle it and not back down, too, right?
Yeah, there's physicals again. I thought, I thought the refs did a good job of being pretty consistent with letting it go kind of both ways, and good for us. We got to be in these types of games to prepare us for March. So I think, hats off to West Central. Great addition to our conference and a fun team to play. I respect the way they play. They play hard. They're scrappy. And like you said, they're as physical and as athletic as, besides for Perm, as we've seen and, we've seen in a while. They're a really good team, especially defensively.
I think you pretty much always know the game plan with the other team. They're going to try to get a double team on Jay Newber, but then you got other players. Matthew Warren was huge there for that little stretch.
Yeah, Matthew did a really good job of, kind of dicing through the paint. He does a good job of slashing, and we needed to him. I don't know what the scoring was, but I thought he had a great game, and not only on offense, but, that number 4 for them is a heck of a player, and I don't know what he finished, but I thought Matthew, not that our game plan was what won, but I thought he did a great job of staying down on him. That kid pivots very well and uses ball fakes, and Matthew's great on both ends of the game. But yeah, I agree. Jay maybe didn't have his best game tonight. I don't know what he finished with for scoring, but I thought he made some big passes throughout the game. He'll be just fine. His minutes might have been a little high, but he wanted to win, and we needed him out there.
Well, I had Jay Newber for 17 and Matthew Warren with 20, but I'm going to ask you give me an honest answer. When Corey McCoy is loading up the three and before he shoots, what's going through your head?
Make it. No, I'm just kidding. And the thing is, though, Corey's improved so much. I mean, if you would have told me as a ninth grader that, one, he'd be playing and much less, improved his shot and things like that, and he gives us something. It's just energy and grit, and you need guys like that they're worked hard on their game, but they do all the little things well. He's not going to miss a crash. He's going to box out. He's going to play physical. And when you do those types of things, sometimes the moment found you, and I think for him that was a big three when we needed to do, or when we needed it. And like I said, you work hard, the moment will find you.
I agree with you with him. Sometimes I don't know what you're expecting out of Corey McCoy, but he always gives you something, doesn't he?
All gas, no brakes. Yeah, we just, want him to play extremely hard. And, sometimes it's kind of loose canner. He's all over the place, and, he maybe makes mistakes and whatnot, but for the most part, you never question effort. And if you got 5 guys out there that you don't have to question their effort and their heart's in the right place, you're going to be all right no matter what skill level you have. And I think he's making the most of his role, and we need him. There's no question about that.
I was thinking about this to ask you because I asked this of Coach Dusha last week too. Practice is one thing, but you have to get used to game conditions, meaning the speed. And I think you really learned that up at Perham against that team.
Oh.
Those guys can execute. And then you knew tonight just the speed of West Central with their press. And a game is different, isn't it?
It is different. And, the shot, I love the shot clock. I'm a huge fan of it. I think it's way more fun to play, and I would assume it's way more fun to coach and probably to play, I would assume. But, yeah, it's hard to simulate, some of the things you're going to see in games. And, it's been a weird start to the year for everybody. We've not had no rhythm, right? We've had almost 7 days off between every single game besides for the back-to-back with Perham. In Perham, we could have used about 6 practices to try to prepare for that buzzsaw, but at the same time, tip your hat. Sometimes you show up and you get beat. But I agree with that. Yeah, the speed of the game is hard to simulate. And, we are still – we're not young. We have a lot of experience. But like Damien, these are all learning experiences for him. He played 30 minutes tonight, I'm assuming, and handling the ball late, all those situations that, we maybe haven't been in individually or as a team. But you find a way to win, especially on the road, you'll take that any day.
Well, because, again, for example, tomorrow against Bold, that's a team that can always run.
Bold's got players for sure. And, again, with no practice this week, it's kind of weird to play back-to-back. But I also think it's kind of fun for our selling point was – this is on you players, right? You guys, you just got to show up and play. There's, where there is no over-coaching. We haven't, really done a whole lot to feel overly confident going into the game. But ultimately, you got to believe in your players. And tomorrow's going to be another meat grinder, grind it out. down to the end. And if we come to play, we can play with them. But if we don't, we're going to get beat, and that's the beauty of the conference. And playing a tough schedule. If you don't show up, you're losing, and I think that's more than fair.
You had to, coming into this ball game, based on West Central beat Melrose by 33. You got to be sitting there thinking, "Oh man, I hope we do okay tonight."
Yeah, and watching them a little bit on film and when I can. God, they're so fundamental. They pass the ball. Every game they got a new best player. And Melrose will play just, that was just a fluke game. They're going to be just fine. And when they play them again, they'll play with them. But credit to West Central. They're a scrappy team. And they are, like I said, I'm excited to have them in the conference. Their JV team was good. Their 9th grade team was good. They got things going here, so we got to try to keep up with them, I guess.
Well, I can bet you that you go back and down in the locker room, I'll bet you there's a lot of ice packs on the boys, huh?
I know, and we're not in shape. I don't know if any team is, and I think eventually that'll play itself out, but we also can't complain that we're, worn down. We're over halfway through our season, 15-week season, so on Wednesday was the halfway point. We have more games left than practices, but we also have had, like I said, besides for the Perham back-to-back, and then tomorrow we've had 7 to 11 games between games. So I do think we're a little out of shape. We got to clear that up. But tomorrow will be a test of to see where we're at as far as conditioning. But we got beat up tonight. There's no question about it.